The Pokemon Leaker has come out to say a bunch of brand new leaks. And in this video, we're going to cover more leaks about wins and waves, and as well as that Pokemon Legends 3. So, we got a lot to talk about today. And this is from a source that we have talked about before. Now, this person doesn't always come out to say stuff, so they basically did a whole nother leak dump. We have a dump of so much brand new information today, and I cannot wait to go through it because I've seen a little bit, but I've been saving it for this video because I actually love to look at leaks with you guys for the first time because I just think it makes it more fun and almost like more personal, if that makes sense. So, and on top of that, we have a little bit of other news in this video, so stick around. Make sure to subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you don't miss all Pokemon news, leaks, and updates. All right, let's get into it. So now we have this user who has been picking up so much traction recently. Let's just start from the bottom and get to the top, right? So the user said, I came into my position at the latter end of the Champions dev cycle, which is Pokemon Champions, the game. And it was a rather harrowing experience. Concerned if Ewell, which hopefully I'm saying his name correctly, this is a person. Right here we got a Bulbapedia website of basically exactly who this man is. If he was in a leading role again, especially on a project as massive as Seed. Pokemon Seed is the Pokemon MMO that they are still working on. And we get stuff every now and then, like every couple of weeks or months, I guess, we do get a little bit of MMO information. So we have Yoda Force saying, I hope it's not as badly handled as Champions. I'm really looking forward to Seed. So how do you feel about Champions and the MMO? I think they need to lock in. The MMO is a very important game. It's a big game. And now we're not going to talk too much about it in today's video, but if you want me to make an updated video about the MMO, like everything that we know about it, I will totally do a video just completely based on that. So let me know. Someone I don't know said, do you know if any Pokemon Bank's termination was for budget cuts regarding Winds and Waves MMO Lite servers? Since you work at QA, which I'm pretty sure that means quality assurance, I'd imagine that they would start investing on servers for those features after debugging. The leaker saying, don't know anything in that regard, as that's an entirely separate division from where I am, but my guess is that it has nothing to do with that. It's more likely that Nintendo wanting all CDN/online services to the 3DS to be shut down. The releases having ties to Home are a neat way to get Pokemon locked to Bank exclusively onto Home and getting people to start using Home, although I doubt this was a planned conspiracy like people have been saying. Later in this video, we do have more about Pokemon Home, like a overall guide of what exactly to do if you want to get your Pokemon out of Pokemon Bank. And Home, dude, it better be the last transfer app or, you know, feature, whatever that they have, dude. If they ever make a brand new Pokemon transfer system or like storage box, I think that would be insane because Home is pretty cool, but dude, I could not imagine having to do this all over again. Somebody asked if you know Winds and Waves will be at World. He says no clue, but I doubt it personally. And then asking about Karasu, which we do have some information about Karasu today because this has been a code name that has been very interesting. We're going back and forth with what this could mean, and I think we do finally know. He said way too early, which is true. Like, I would say the earliest we'd see Karasu be announced is 2028. I don't think 2027 or 2026 is going to be the year, but they could. You never know. They could do literally whatever they want. And if you're wondering why this person even asking that, is because Pokemon themselves, the Pokemon Company, have announced that they are going to be doing some crazy announcements, and we also recently just had leaks of Generation 3 ports being on the Switch and the Switch 2 this year, like September or October, which would be game changer. Like, that's absolutely insane. I feel like there is not enough hype around that right now, dude. That is like making me so hyped for this year of Pokemon, and nobody is talking about it. Like, when the leaks first dropped, people were talking about it, and now a couple of days later, I swear just no one cares anymore. Somebody asking a question saying, I don't know if your activity opens up a new mini Q&A session, but if so, could you tell us a bit about the Winds Waves post-game? Which game's post-game is it most comparable to, and do you know if it has something to do with the procedural generated islands? Saying that the generated islands are still in the game, and yes, you guys already know about the MMO Lite systems, and the post-game leans into that. Some of the keystone functions are co-op Netsu bosses raids, similar to the story one on the Mahu tour, like Scarlet Violet raids, as well as that multiplayer travel agency races. So it seems like this post-game might be something that they could actually involve online play with, like the MMO stuff, so it's actually kind of like fun. I feel like games really last longer when they do stuff like this, where, you know, you have a whole gameplay, you can play the entire storyline, but then afterwards, if there's some sort of online feature to actually just play and, like, you know, play casually or like 10 or 20 minutes, I think that'd be awesome. And what this exactly reminds me of is Splatoon Raiders. In Splatoon Raiders, you can hop on online matches and basically like replay some of the raids or like the battles that you have done in the game or haven't done, depending on where you are in the storyline. And it seems like it's going to be very similar to that in a way. But of course, I haven't played Winds and Waves, so I don't know exactly, but those are the vibes I'm getting. Can you tell us about the Seed Pokemon's deal? Sickly young girl takes care of Konetsu, and you help her protect it from the bad guys as you go around the region. Defeating bosses on the Legend Tour will empower the Konetsu, similar to how the Scarlet and Violet legendaries gain new traversal features. So things that we do in this game, like different activities and battles, the more bosses we defeat and the more storyline we do complete, we will be able to, I guess, level up the Seed Pokemon, which is not related to the MMO. Seed Pokemon is different from MMO. It's very weird why they use the same name for those things, which makes a lot of sense. I think this is very, very good for gameplay and storyline. Basically like being encouraged to keep playing and give us a reason to keep going forward with the storyline as a whole. Would you say the story is better than Scarlet and Violet or simply on par? The leaker saying better. The world building is much stronger in these games, and the story quality is pretty consistent throughout the game. Unlike Scarlet and Violet, all 3 routes have compelling character development. Awesome, that is a W. So what we do know is apparently this game will have different alternate storylines, like different decisions you make will actually change the storyline, so you could replay this game and have potentially a different story to play through. Now I think that overall it's gonna be in the same kind of realm. Like I don't think, one legendary Pokemon is going to do something that leads to a completely different, post-game kind of thing. Like everything should still kind of wrap together if I'm going to assume things, but maybe not. I don't know. They could have completely different endings that all mean something else. But it's so sick to see that the world building is stronger in this game and that it has really good character development. I feel like Pokemon always hits with the storyline. Most Pokemon game stories are pretty good. Of course, I have my favorites and I have my least favorites, which let me know your favorites or least favorites. But I love that it's consistent, meaning that you have probably thoroughly thought through this entire storyline to make it as good as they possibly can. Somebody asked what Karasu is. You could be vague, blah, blah, blah. Basically just what is it? The leaker saying it is Legends 3. So now this is what we kind of assumed, but it hasn't really been that confirmed. We may have had Ball Guy say the exact same thing. I can't remember if he did come out to say it is Legends 3 or if it's separate from Legends 3, because that stuff happened a few months ago. But the 3rd Legends game, we don't know if it's going to be Legends Galar yet. I think it was this leaker or it might have been another leaker that was saying that Legends 3 is actually going to be a Kanto game, like Pokemon Legends Mew or something like that, or Legends Kanto, which you guys can say all you want about Gen 1, but I do think the Kanto region would be sick to have a Legends game based on it, especially since we have gone back to the Kanto region so many times that I think if we ever do go back to this region, it has to be in a different way. Technically, Pokopia did it in a different way though too, so that's the only reason why I'm like, I don't know, I could see Legends 3 just being some other region that we haven't gone to yet, because Pokopia is in the Kanto region, even though it is a little different within that game. But speaking of characters, can you provide us info on the Elite Four? Saying sure, unlike previous Elite Fours, they show up throughout the game along with the champion. The now famous dolphin hair girl from the Terra League is actually the water type Elite Four member. This is the character that he's talking about right here, and apparently she is the water type Elite Four member. Now we did just recently talk about the Elite Four like types, and it's pretty basic. If I remember it correctly, I think it's literally fire, water, grass, and then electric. It's basically like the most simple types possible. I was saying kind of makes sense for Generation 10. We have a parody account asking if he has seen the rumors of the Gen 3 ports on the Switch. The leaker said, heard the rumors, it's not my division. For the record, I'm exclusively on Winds and Waves as of right now, but we are given a brief roadmap on future mainline projects, but nothing more than that. No idea if the rumors are real. Apparently it originated from a Fortnite leaker. The leaker that did come out to say the Gen 3 stuff actually did leak Zelda Ocarina of Time a long time ago, so he also has said other stuff in the past that has been pretty accurate with Nintendo. So I would say the stuff he's saying is usually pretty close to correct, or it's pretty accurate, right? But it is interesting to see how this person is apparently allegedly working on just Winds and Waves. So of course, take it with a grain of salt, because this could be a big troll, but also at the same time, everything he said hasn't been that crazy. And of course, we haven't had the game drop yet, so we still aren't sure if a lot of the stuff he is claiming right now is true just yet. But guys, let me tell you what, I've been talking about Pokemon leaks for a couple of years now, and we do frequently get random claims online that do become true. That's why it's so fun to take a look at it. And even if this stuff doesn't come true, it's just fun to theorize, but none of this stuff sounds that crazy to me, like that far out of the box or unbelievable, you know? Somebody basically asked like how the graphics are improving and said fidelity was lowered on the trailers for performance. Actually, of course, that's the goal, but we're not quite there yet. It may be downgraded if optimization can't get across the finish line. That is the worst news we've heard so far with this, and we've heard issues about the game. Like we've heard that it may actually be struggling to run at 60 FPS, and it would really stink if we have 60 FPS, but then they downgrade everything else. And I don't know, man. I do think 60 FPS is a must for this game, especially since they've spoiled us with, higher frame rate for ZA and for Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 2. And it's Pokemon and it's Generation 10. They have to make this work and they have to get this to go smoothly, if that makes sense. If not, then I think they're going to be kind of cooked and a lot of people are going to be pretty mad. That is all this leaker has to say. We have a couple quick things to go over. So Central Leaks did post a big recap of all of this. If you want to just like pause and read everything just in specific, but of course I just wanted to go deeper into this, take a deep dive into it. And here is a great map, a road guide I guess you could call it, showing all the generations and how they could reach Pokemon home. So of course you want to take a screenshot. I totally recommend it if you want to get some of these Pokemon from some of these generations or games onto home. Anyway, that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you were watching this far in the video, comment down below your favorite soda of all time. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.